Welcome to HPM classes. Hope you all are well. In the previous video, we have learned about nutrition and respiration. हमने देखा था कि हम अपने खाने से जो न्यूट्रिशन लेते हैं, that nutrition reaches up to each and every cell of our body. इसके साथ ही जो हम सांस लेते हैं, which contain oxygen in it, reaches up to our cells where it helps in the breakdown of carbohydrate to release carbon dioxide and energy. And that energy is stored in our muscles and liver cells for the further use. And carbon dioxide comes out of the body while exhalation. बट इन दोनों प्रोसेसेस को करने के लिए भी तो एक सिस्टम चाहिए which can transport the nutrients and oxygen up to our cells and which can carry out waste materials away from the cells, right? So that system is our blood circulatory system. In higher organisms like us, circulatory system or blood transport system has two separate circuits, which we will study in details later on. First one is pulmonary circuit, which is between the heart and the lungs, जो कि heart और lungs के बीच में होता है, and the systemic circuit, which is present between the heart and other organs, जो कि heart और बाकी organs के बीच में होता है. Now let us understand it in more detail. First of all, what is blood? What is the function of blood? So we have already understood the function of blood, but what exactly the blood is? तो blood एक connective tissue है. Tissue तो आपने class 9th में पढ़ा ही होगा. Tissue is a group of similar cells which perform a similar function. ठीक है? तो blood भी एक tissue है. Blood consists of a fluid medium which is called as plasma, जिसमें cells suspended form में होते हैं, मतलब तैर रहे होते हैं. These cells are RBCs, red blood corpuscles, WBC, white blood corpuscles, and blood platelets. The function of plasma is to transport food and carbon dioxide and other nitrogenous waste in dissolved form. हमने पिछले वीडियो में भी देखा था कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ब्लड में डिसॉल्व होकर ट्रांसपोर्ट होता है, तो वह प्लाज्मा में ही डिसॉल्व होता है. ऑक्सीजन को कैरी करने के लिए रेड ब्लड सेल्स में एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप का प्रोटीन होता है, which is a special respiratory pigment of RBC, which enables the transportation of oxygen, and that is hemoglobin. Remember, we have studied that hemoglobin has very high affinity for oxygen, means hemoglobin को ऑक्सीजन से जुड़ना अच्छा लगता है. अच्छा, why do we call it red blood corpuscles and not red blood cells? Because RBCs lack nucleus and many other organelles. That's why it is called as red blood corpuscles and not red blood cells. So as we have already learned what the blood exactly is, now just to pump it in all over the body, we need a proper pumping organ which can push the blood around the body. A network of tubes to reach all the tissues and a system in place to ensure that this network can be repaired if damaged. अगर इस सिस्टम में कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आती है, कोई भी कट आता है, कोई भी डैमेज होता है, तो उसको रिपेयर करने के लिए भी एक प्रॉपर सिस्टम, एक प्रॉपर मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए. Now let's see the differences in the hemoglobin level. You can pause the video to note down these observations in your notebook. Now let's start with our pumping organ, which is heart. The heart is a muscular organ which is as big as our fist. बेटा हमारे हार्ट में दो टाइप के ब्लड फ्लो करते हैं. One is oxygenated, means oxygen rich blood, and another one is deoxygenated, means carbon dioxide rich blood. जो oxygenated blood है, ऑक्सीजन का कंटेंट ज़्यादा होता है, और जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिच ब्लड है उसमें कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड की क्वांटिटी ज़्यादा होती है. ओके, सो टू प्रिवेंट द मिक्सिंग ऑफ दीज टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ब्लड इन द हार्ट हैज़ डिफरेंट चैम्बर्स. इन डिफरेंट ब्लड्स को मिक्सिंग होने से बचाने के लिए हार्ट में डिफरेंट चैम्बर्स बने हुए हैं. ठीक है, द हार्ट मेनली हैज़ 4 चैम्बर्स, राइट एंड लेफ्ट आर्टरिया, देन राइट and left ventricles. Oxygen-rich blood from the lungs comes to the thin-walled upper chamber of the heart on the left atrium. अब बेटा इसकी thin wall क्यों होती है? क्योंकि इसको इतना प्रेशर से ब्लड को आगे नहीं पहुंचाना होता, ठीक है? तो लेफ्ट आर्ट्रियम रिलैक्स हो जाता है और उसमें ब्लड फिल हो जाता है. When it fills up completely तो लेफ्ट आर्ट्रियम में कॉन्ट्रैक्शन होता है और सारा ब्लड लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल में फ्लो करके चला जाता है, which is in the relaxed position. And during this the left ventricle relaxes so that the blood is transferred to it. Once the blood fills completely into the left ventricle, it contracts and the blood pumped out of the heart to the body with the help of aorta, which is the largest artery in the body. Now the oxygen gets diffused out of the blood and reaches up to the cells, and the carbon dioxide from the cells diffused into the blood stream. मतलब बेटा ब्लड से ऑक्सीजन सेल्स में चला जाता है और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड सेल से निकलकर ब्लड में आ जाता है. एंड नाउ द ब्लड हैज़ बिकम डीऑक्सीजनेटेड, मीन्स कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिच ब्लड. नाउ दिस ब्लड comes with the help of vena cava in the right atrium of the heart, which is in the relaxed position. Then right atrium contracts to release blood into the right ventricle. बिल्कुल वैसे ही जैसे लेफ्ट साइड पे हुआ था वैसे ही राइट हार्ट में भी होगा. अब लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगी और ब्लड पल्मोनरी आर्टरी की हेल्प से लंग्स में चला जाएगा, where it is mixed with oxygen and becomes oxygenated and again enters into the left atrium of the heart with the help of the pulmonary veins. Since the ventricles have to pump blood into various organs, they have thicker muscular walls than the arteria do. Walls ensure the blood does not flow back towards when the artery or ventricles contract. जब आर्ट्रिया और वेंट्रिकल्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं और ब्लड उनमें से बाहर निकलता है, नेक्स्ट लेवल पे जाता है, तो हार्ट में वॉल्स होते हैं जो क्लोज हो जाते हैं जस्ट टू इंश्योर कि ब्लड वापस हार्ट में ना आए. Although it is not in your syllabus, but at least you should know the names and the function of these valves. So the first valve is right atrioventricular valve or tricuspid valve, which is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Then next one is pulmonary valve, which is present between the right ventricle and the pulmonary aorta. Third one is aortic valve, which is present between the left ventricle and the aorta, the largest artery. Then the fourth one is bicuspid or mitral valve, which is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Now we will see how oxygen enters the blood in the lungs. The separation of the right side and the left side of the heart is useful to keep oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from mixing. This separation is essential, especially in animals with high energy needs, such as birds and mammals, क्योंकि हमें एनर्जी कंटिन्यूस फॉर्म में चाहिए ताकि हम अपने बॉडी टेम्परेचर को मेंटेन कर सकें. Humans are warm-blooded animals and we can regulate our internal body temperature regardless of the environment to keep our body core temperature regulated at 37 degree centigrade. हमारे बॉडी का एक मिनिमल टेम्परेचर होता है बेटा, दैट इज़ 37 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, और हम उसे मेंटेन करते हैं चाहे बाहर का टेम्परेचर कुछ भी हो. सो वी आर द वार्म ब्लडेड एनिमल्स. ऑन द अदर हैंड, other vertebrates have 4-chambered heart in which blood goes twice. 2 बार blood heart में पहुंचता है and this is called as double circulation. बेटा हमने starting में देखा था, in the beginning of this video we have seen that there are 2 circuits in our heart. One is pulmonary circuit and second one is systematic circuit. Now what is blood pressure? We will try to understand with this picture. This is a blood vessel from which the blood is passing away. अब blood इस vessel से गुजरते समय vessels की wall पर pressure exert करता है, and that pressure is called as blood pressure. Means the force that blood exerts against the wall of a vessel is called as blood pressure. This pressure is much greater in arteries than in veins. First of all, we will understand what is artery and what is vein. If you look at this picture, so this is the artery which is carrying blood away from the heart. बेटा आर्टरीज वो ब्लड वेसल्स होती हैं जो ब्लड को हार्ट से लेके जाती हैं। वेन्स वो ब्लड वेसल्स होती हैं जो ब्लड को हार्ट तक लेके आती हैं। Arteries need to carry blood up to each and every organ of the body. So the pressure in artery is more. The pressure of the blood inside the artery during ventricular systole means contraction is called systolic pressure. बेटा हमने पढ़ा था कि जब ventricle fill हो जाता है it gets contracted and blood start flowing out of it which causes pressure which is called as systolic pressure. और जैसे ही ventricle खाली होता है means ventricle relaxed position में होता है, the pressure which remains is called as diastolic pressure. Now think which pressure is more, systolic or diastolic? So as during the systolic pressure the blood needs to go out of the heart with a force, so it is greater in comparison to the diastolic pressure. And the normal range of systolic pressure is about 120 mm of Hg and diastolic pressure is 80 mm of Hg. So this mm of Hg is the unit of pressure. Blood pressure is measured with an instrument which is called as sphygmomanometer. If the force by which the blood is flowing inside the artery is more, it exerts more pressure on the wall of artery and causes high blood pressure which is also called as hypertension. This happens due to the contraction in the arterioles. When there is any blockage in the artery, sometimes too much contraction in the arteries can lead to the rupture of any artery and internal bleeding. Arteries में संकुचन से कई बार आर्टरी फट जाती है और इंटरनल ब्लीडिंग स्टार्ट हो जाती है. So blood pressure should always remains to be normal as neither high nor low blood pressure is good. ना BP हाई होना चाहिए ना BP लो होना चाहिए. Now we will study about the tubes which are the blood vessels. Arteries are the vessels which carry blood away from the heart to various organs of the body. Since the blood emerges from the heart under high pressure, the arteries have thick elastic walls. Arteries की thick elastic walls होती हैं क्योंकि उन्हें पूरी बॉडी तक blood का circulation करना होता है. Veins collect the blood from different organs and bring it back to the heart, so they do not need thick walls because the blood is no longer under pressure. बेटा veins में blood का pressure नहीं होता, तो veins की जो walls होती हैं वो thick नहीं होती. Instead they have walls, उनमें walls होती हैं that ensure that the blood flows only in one direction. Blood के back flow को prevent करते हैं ताकि blood सिर्फ एक ही direction में आगे बढ़े. Now let's understand the difference between veins and arteries with the help of this chart. So veins carry blood from the tissues of the body back to the heart and arteries carry blood away from the heart to the tissues of the body. Veins are usually positioned closer beneath the surface of the skin. As you can see in this picture, veins are very much visible, which are present just beneath the skin. And arteries are usually positioned deeper within the body. Veins are less muscular than arteries, but veins contain walls to help keep blood flowing in the right direction, usually towards the heart. And arteries are more muscular, which helps transport blood that is full of oxygen efficiently to the tissues. Then veins would collapse if blood flow stops, but arteries would generally remain open if blood flow stopped due to their thick muscular layer. On reaching an organ or tissue, the artery divides into smaller and smaller vessels to bring the blood in contact with all the individual cells. The smallest vessels have walls which are 1 cell thick and are called capillaries. जब आर्टरीज टिश्यूज़ के पास पहुंचती हैं तो वहाँ पर पतले पतले वेसल्स में डिवाइड होना शुरू हो जाती हैं. उन पतले छोटे ब्लड वेसल्स के जाल को कैपिलरीज कहते हैं. बट व्हाट इज़ द पर्पस ऑफ दिस डिवीजन? So the purpose is that the nutrients and gases which are carried out by blood vessels can easily diffuse out through the pores which are present in the wall of capillaries and reaches up to each and every cell of the body. Once these materials are used up by the cells for its metabolic activities, जब cells इन materials को use कर लेता है तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज करता है और फिर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड डिफ्यूज़ होकर इन्हीं कैपिलरीज में वापस आ जाता है. एंड देन दीज थिन वेसल्स कंबाइन टुगेदर टू फॉर्म वेन्स दैट टेक्स ब्लड अवे फ्रॉम द ऑर्गन्स और टिश्यूज. होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस होल नेटवर्क ऑफ ब्लड. नाउ वी विल सी व्हाट इफ दिस नेटवर्क गेट डैमेज समवेयर. अगर इस ट्यूबुलर सिस्टम में कहीं लीक हो जाता है तो क्या होगा? This leakage will cause loss of blood as well as the loss of pressure, which would reduce the efficiency of the pumping system. अगर हमारा ब्लड का नेटवर्क कहीं पर लीक होता है ड्यू टू इंजरी तो ब्लड का लॉस तो होता ही है, साथ ही साथ प्रेशर जो ब्लड आर्टरीज पे डलता है उसका भी लॉस होता है और हमारा पंपिंग सिस्टम इफेक्टेड होता है. To avoid this, the blood has platelet cells which circulate around the body and plug these leaks by helping the clot the blood at these points of injury, which is called as blood clotting. Platelets इन leaks को रोकने में help करते हैं, मतलब खून का थक्का बनाने में help करते हैं. Platelets or thrombocytes are small colorless cell fragments in our blood that form clots and stop or prevent bleeding. Platelets are made in our bone marrow, the sponge-like tissue inside our bones. Our cells have intercellular spaces between them. हमारे cells के बीच में intercellular spaces होते हैं. Capillaries pass through these spaces. While passing, some amount of plasma, which is a fluid material in blood, along with some proteins and blood cells, escape into the intercellular space in the tissues to form tissue fluid or lymph. तो जब कैपिलरीज टिश्यू सेल्स के पास से गुजरती हैं तो कुछ प्लाज्मा, कुछ प्रोटीन और कुछ ब्लड सेल्स कैपिलरीज के पतले पोर्स से इंटरसेलुलर स्पेस में आ जाते हैं और लिम्फ का फॉर्मेशन करते हैं. लिम्फ प्लाज्मा के जैसा होता है, कलरलेस होता है, पर इसमें प्रोटीन्स कम होते हैं. लिम्फ इज मेड अप ऑफ WBCs, स्पेशली lymphocytes, which are the cells that attack bacteria in the blood. The lymph which is formed in intestine that contains proteins and fat is called as chyle. This lymph drains back into the lymphatic capillaries which connects to form lymphatic vessels. और यही lymphatic vessels connect to form lymphatic system which opens later on in the larger vein, the vena cava, and drains all the lymph back into the blood. Here you can see in the picture, the red one is the blood vessel and the white one is the lymphatic vessels. Lymph intercellular space से lymphatic capillaries में enter करता है. यही lymphatic capillaries आगे combine होके बनाती हैं lymphatic vessels. ये lymphatic vessels larger veins में खुलती हैं और सारा lymph drain हो जाता है और enter करता है blood के अंदर. Hope you have understood the transportation in animals. If anyone has any query, you can ask me in the comment section. Let's move on towards the transportation in plants. We know that plants make their own food by photosynthesis with the help of chlorophyll, which is present in leaves. Other nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and other minerals, as well as water, which is needed by the plant for its growth, is taken up by plant from the soil with the help of the roots. But if the plant is small, these minerals and energy can easily diffuse to all parts of the plant body, right? अगर प्लांट छोटा है तो एनर्जी और न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो प्लांट्स को फूड से मिलती है वो आसानी से डिफ्यूज़ होकर एक सेल से दूसरे सेल में ट्रांसपोर्ट हो सकता है. But if the plant is large, especially in the trees where the energy and nutrient requirements are much greater, diffusion process is not enough in providing raw material in leaves and in providing energy in roots. बड़े प्लांट्स में लीव्स को मिनरल्स और वाटर नहीं मिल पाएंगे और रूट्स को एनर्जी नहीं मिल पाएगी. Therefore, a proper system of transport is essential in such situations. एक proper transportation system ज़रूरी है इन ज़रूरतों को पूरा करने के लिए. Plants do not move and plant bodies have a large proportion of dead cells in many tissues. As a result, plants have low energy needs and can use relatively slow transport systems. जो ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम प्लांट्स में पाए जाते हैं वो स्लो होते हैं क्योंकि प्लांट्स की एनर्जी नीड्स ज़्यादा नहीं होती. Plant transport system will move energy stores from leaves and raw materials from the roots. Plant का जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सिस्टम होता है वो एनर्जी को लीव्स से दूसरे पार्ट्स तक पहुंचाने में हेल्प करता है और जो रॉ मटेरियल्स रूट्स के पास हैं उन्हें प्लांट के दूसरे पार्ट्स तक पहुंचाने में हेल्प करता है, जिसके लिए दो इंडिपेंडेंट मतलब अलग कंडक्टिंग ट्यूब्स होती हैं. द जाइलम मूव्स water and mineral obtained from the soil, while phloem transports the products of photosynthesis from the leaves to other parts of the plant. Now we will discuss the transportation of water in detail. Xylem cells are of four types: xylem vessels, tracheids, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma, out of which only xylem parenchyma is living and all other cells are dead, and they provide mechanical support to the plant. In xylem tissue, vessels and tracheids of the roots and stems and leaves are interconnected to form a continuous system of water conducting channel reaching all parts of the plant. Xylem tissues एक conducting tube की तरह रूट से लेकर leaves तक प्रेजेंट होते हैं. At the roots, cells in contact with the soil actively take up ions, जिसकी वजह से रूट टिप के सेल्स में आयन इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं. तो एक कंसंट्रेशन डिफरेंस क्रिएट होता है बिटवीन रूट एंड सॉयल, ड्यू टू विच ऑस्मोटिक प्रेशर बिल्ड्स अप एंड वाटर स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग इनटू द रूट्स. दिस मूवमेंट ऑफ आयन इन वाटर इज ड्यू टू रूट प्रेशर, क्योंकि यहाँ रूट्स वाटर को फोर्सफुली अंदर खींच रहे हैं. दिस इज द वन वे बाय विच प्लांट्स टेक्स देयर वाटर. देयर इज स्टेडी मूवमेंट ऑफ वाटर इनटू रूट जाइलम, क्रिएटिंग अ कॉलम ऑफ वाटर दैट इज स्टेडली पुश्ड अपवर्ड. मतलब एक स्थिर गति से पानी प्लांट जाइलम में प्रवेश करता है और ऊपर की तरफ जाता है. बट दिस मूवमेंट इज नॉट इनफ, स्पेशली इन हायर प्लांट्स. Plants use another strategy to move water in the xylem upward towards the highest point of the plant body, and that strategy we will learn through this activity, which is activity 6.8. So for this activity you will have to take two small pots of approximately the same size and having the same amount of soil. एक pot में एक plant होगा और दूसरे pot में same height की एक stick होगी. Now you will cover the soil in both the pots with a plastic sheet so that the moisture cannot escape by evaporation. क्योंकि evaporation जो कि एक continuous process है जिसके through water vapors release होते हैं air में, तो ये plastic sheet उस evaporation को prevent करेगा. So cover both sets, one with the plant and other with the stick, with plastic sheets, and place in bright sunlight for half an hour. Now what is the aim of this activity? The aim is to evaluate the transpiration in the plants. The material required are stick and a plant. Now what will be the observation of this activity? So plant releases water molecules in the air. Water droplets appear in the plastic sheet having plant due to evaporation. This plastic sheet does not allow these vapors to escape in air. Leaves have tiny pores in them, which enables the carbon dioxide to enter into the chloroplast, While doing so, some amount of water is lost in the form of vapors, and this process is called as transpiration, which is a physical phenomena and not a life process in which a plant or leaf performs exhalation of water vapors through the stomata. Plants lose more than 90% of their water through transpiration. दिन के समय में जब स्टोमेटा कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को एब्जॉर्ब करने के लिए खुलता है तो वाटर वेपर्स रिलीज होते हैं, तो पानी की कमी हो जाती है। इस कमी को पूरा करने के लिए एक सक्शन क्रिएट होता है, जैसे कोई पानी ऊपर की तरफ खींच रहा हो, जिसकी वजह से खिंचाव उत्पन्न होता है और पानी ऊपर जाता है, विच इज कॉल्ड एज ट्रांसपिरेशन पुल, which is called as transpiration pull. Evaporation of water molecules from the cells of a leaf creates a suction which pulls water from the xylem cells of roots. Thus, transpiration helps in the absorption and upward movement of water and minerals dissolved in it from roots to the leaves. It also helps in temperature regulation. And this process is called as transpiration pull. The effect of root pressure in transport of water is important at night, when stomata is closed, because during night plant does not need carbon dioxide anymore. So the guard cells contract to close the stomata. So no transpiration takes place. And during the day, when the stomata are open, the transpiration pull becomes a major driving force in the movement of water in the xylem. दिन में जब स्टोमेटा ओपन होते हैं तो पानी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के द्वारा ही प्लांट जाइलम में मूव करता है. Now next we will see how food and other substances are transported in plant's body. We know that leaves make their food by the process called photosynthesis. To transport this food product to other parts is important. This transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is called as translocation, means transportation of food at different locations of the plant. In that way you can remember this. This process of translocation takes place through phloem. जो खाना लीव्स में बनता है वो प्लांट्स के दूसरे पार्ट्स तक पहुंचने की प्रक्रिया को ट्रांसलोकेशन कहते हैं. Besides the products of photosynthesis, the phloem transports amino acids and other substances. इन प्रोडक्ट्स की डिलीवरी प्लांट के स्टोरेज ऑर्गन्स जो कि रूट्स में प्रेजेंट होती है वहाँ तक होती है. हमने क्लास 9th में प्लांट टिश्यूज़ पढ़े थे, in which we studied about vascular tissues also. We have studied about different cells of phloem tissues, which are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. So out of these, only phloem fibers are dead and all other cells are alive. They help in the transportation of food as well as the storage of food. The translocation of food and other substances takes place in the sieve tube with the help of the adjacent companion cells, both in upward and downward directions. Transportation in xylem takes place simply by physical forces. मतलब the first one was due to root pressure and the second one was due to transpiration pull. But translocation in phloem is achieved by utilizing energy from ATP. So material like sucrose is transferred into phloem tissues using energy from ATP. अब देखो बेटा, suppose this is your phloem tissue, right? Sucrose is collected in it. Now the level of water gets low inside the phloem. So the water with the help of osmotic pressure sucked inside means the water moves inside the phloem cells. And this pressure moves the material in the phloem to tissues which have less pressure. तो इस तरह मटेरियल्स उन टिश्यूज़ की तरफ चले जाते हैं जहाँ प्रेशर कम होता है. Now we will look at the difference between transportation system in xylem and phloem. The first difference is xylem conducts water and minerals from roots to leaves, and phloem conducts food from leaves to all parts of the plant. Xylem is composed of mainly dead elements, and phloem is composed of mainly living elements. The transportation which takes place in xylem is unidirectional, means only in one direction, that is the upward movement. And in phloem, the transportation is bidirectional, means in two directions. Bi means two. So the transportation of food through phloem takes place in upward as well as in the downward direction. Now xylem has four types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers, out of which only xylem parenchyma are living and all other cells are dead. Phloem consists of four types of cells, which are phloem fibers, sieve tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma, out of which only phloem fibers are dead and all others are living. So it's the revision time, and during revision I cover all the points which are important from the exam point of view. So let's start. We need a proper transport system which can transport the nutrients and oxygen up to our cells and which can carry waste materials away from the cells. The transport system which every higher animal has a blood circulatory system. Blood is a connective tissue which consists of plasma, the liquid part which is made up of water, salts and proteins. Over half of your blood is plasma. The solid part of your blood contains red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. Platelets or thrombocytes are small colorless cell fragments in our blood that form clots and stop or prevent bleeding. The arteries carry oxygen-rich blood or oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body's tissues. The exception is pulmonary artery, which carries deoxygenated or carbon dioxide-rich blood away from the heart to the lungs. The veins take oxygen-poor or deoxygenated blood back to the heart from different tissues of the body. The exception is pulmonary vein, which carries oxygen-rich blood towards the heart from the lungs. Fish has two-chambered heart in which blood comes only once, which is called as single circulation. Hemoglobin, abbreviated as HB or HGB, is an iron-containing oxygen transport protein in the RBCs of almost all vertebrates, as well as the tissues of some invertebrates. Hemoglobin in blood carries oxygen from lungs or gills to the rest of the body. Amphibians like frog and reptiles like snakes have three-chambered heart. Four-chambered heart in which blood goes twice, this is called as double circulation, which is found in higher vertebrates like us. Arteries are muscular and carries oxygenated blood, and they lack valves. Veins are less muscular and carries deoxygenated blood and have valves which prevent backflow of the blood. There are two circuits in the heart. First one is pulmonary circuit, which takes place from the heart to the lungs and from the lungs to the heart. And second one is systemic circuit, which takes place from the heart to the body tissues and from the body tissues to the heart. Hope you have understood. When the ventricles contract, the pressure exerts on the arteries is called as systolic pressure, and when the ventricles relaxes, the pressure which remains in the arteries is called as diastolic pressure. The normal range of blood pressure is 120 mm of Hg by 80 mm of Hg. This mm of Hg is the unit of pressure. Blood pressure is measured with an instrument called sphygmomanometer. Lymph is a fluid which is similar to the plasma of the blood, which contains some proteins and blood cells. Lymph is made up of white blood cells, especially lymphocytes, the cells that attack bacteria in the blood. Lymph also carries digested protein and fat, which is known as chyle. Lymph goes back into the lymphatic system, which opens into the large vein. Plant has two vascular tissues for the transportation of ions and water from the roots towards the upper part of the plant, and food materials which is formed in the leaves of the plants towards other parts of the plant, especially towards the storage cells in the roots. Transportation of water and minerals from the soil towards the tip of the plant takes place through xylem tissues. This takes place due to the physical force exerted by root pressure and transpiration pull. Just do remember these points. Translocation of food and other substances takes place in the phloem tissue of the vascular system of the plant. It takes place by using energy from ATP. Transportation of minerals and water takes place in xylem is unidirectional process, means it takes place in one direction, that is in upward direction only. And translocation of food and other substances takes place in phloem is a bidirectional process, means both in upward and downward directions. So in the next video we will learn about excretion. Till then, thank you.